Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to the video. So in this video, we're going to be talking about the top 3 stocks that I'm looking to play this upcoming week. We're also going to be going over last week's picks, how they performed, and my updated thesis on those. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get into the video. So first off, last week we talked about Palantir, ticker symbol PLTR. We talked about it breaking out of that falling wedge. It is holding that breakout and is showing some strength here over 24, which is acting as resistance this past week. If it does end up holding 24 throughout the week, we can see upside to $25 plus and potentially run up to the higher 20s, leading up to that demo day catalyst, which is going to be on April 14th of this week. So next up, we talk about Skillz, ticker symbol SKLZ. This one did end up breaking down below that $18 support level, but it is nearing this break of the downtrend. So if it can break this downtrend overall, it's down 60% plus from highs. It's oversold on the yearly chart. I do think we get a bounce here very, very soon. And when this does bounce, breaks the downtrend and confirms back over $18, I think we can see a pretty quick move up to the low 20s. This is one of my favorite setups right now, and I do think we get a big bounce very, very soon on Skillz, ticker symbol SKLZ. And finally, the last one I talked about last week was Callaway Golf Company, ticker symbol ELY. This is a long-term thesis, 1 year plus out, so I'm not worried about what happens short-term. I would actually prefer a dip to the lower 20s to add more, but overall this one does look strong short-term as well, holding support, bouncing off that support level, and holding support right around that 300 SMA line, so it does look strong here. Alright, so now getting to the overall market for this coming week. Personally, I'm staying very, very cautious with trades and trading a lot less right now. So first off, the overall market is very, very choppy. It's a very tough trading environment, and unless you're just day trade scalping, it's really tough to swing in these conditions because of the choppy market action. And at the same time, the market is very, very overextended. So taking a look at some charts here. First off, taking a look at the S&P 1 year, 1 day chart, we can see that each time it's become overbought on the RSI, we have seen a pretty substantial pullback, and that is where we're at right now. It is overbought here, and I do think we will see a pullback very, very soon. At the same time, it is breaking out of this channel, so could we see some more upside? For sure. And would I recommend calling the top on this market? No, I would never recommend calling a top on the bull market and betting on it to go down. That usually is a losing strategy. But right now we can all see that the market is looking very overextended and will be due for a pullback very soon in my personal opinion. Also taking a look at the 4-hour chart, we can also see each time it's become overbought like this, it has had a pretty substantial pullback. And with technical analysis, patterns repeat themselves until they don't. So there's no guarantee we do get this pullback short term. But in my opinion, it is very likely, a lot more likely than not, that we will get a pullback on the S&P. Moving over to the NASDAQ, we can see that the NASDAQ did break out of this descending triangle, and it is looking ready to retest those all-time highs. At the same time, this is another one that's very overbought, and I did point out each time it's been overbought on the chart, each time this did become overbought, this did end up pulling back each and every time. So it is something to keep an eye on and to be aware of that we could see a broad market pullback. And then finally, moving on to the Dow Jones Industrial Average, we can see that this one is a much slower mover and it rarely does get overbought, but each time it has become overbought on the yearly chart, it did end up pulling back, so that's one more thing to be aware of. And then moving on to the VXX, this tracks the VIX short-term volatility. So overall, this does track the VIX a lot and does gauge short-term fear in the market. And on the yearly chart, this has only become oversold one time, and it did result in a pretty substantial spike. And the other time that did get close to being oversold, it did end up having a pop there as well. So that's one more thing to be aware of, that we could see a market pullback. We could see a pop in the amount of volatility and fear in the market. And overall, I'm personally just treading very lightly in overall market conditions. I'm not over trading, being very, very careful, because I do personally think it's very likely that we do end up seeing a market pullback short term. But I'm not trying to call a top on this, call the market dumping. Not going to do that, because if you bet against the market in a bull market, very likely you're going to lose. So that's not the smart thing to do. The best thing is to wait on the sidelines, wait for better opportunities to come up, and just be patient overall. There will be better opportunities. There's no point in chasing stocks that are up huge recently that you want to get in on. Chances are, if they're up huge, they will be due for a pullback. It may be small, it may be large, but likely it is due for a pullback. So that's one thing to be aware of, and that is one thing I'm doing in this market, being very patient for better opportunities to come up, and it's just very tough to be trading in these very choppy market conditions. Alright, so now getting into a couple of stocks that I am looking for at this week for potential entry. First up is C3.ai, ticker symbol AI. This is an artificial intelligence company optimizing the performance of their clients, which are other large companies. So C3.ai did end up IPOing. It opened the IPO price right about at $100. So as of right now, it's down huge from highs from around $180. It is now down to $60, so it's close to down 70% from highs, which is insane, especially in a bull market like we're in. So this is a big growth company. It's about 3 years away from becoming profitable. So right now the market is not taking this company very well. It did run on a lot of hype when it first IPO'd, but it has trended back down. But in my opinion, these levels are getting very attractive, and the technical setup is looking attractive as well. So let's take a look at that. So this stock ended up bottoming out right around $60 on the recent dip. It did bounce right off there, but it is nearing that $60 level as well. So this is one that I'm being patient on an entry on. I'm not going to buy in blindly. I want to see $60 hold once again. And if it does drop below 60, I do think we could see more downside. So I am being patient on an entry until 60 confirms as support. We can also zoom into a closer time period. We can see where it bounced off before, and it is nearing that same level right at $60. So 60 is going to be a key level moving forward. If it can hold this, I do think we could see a double bottom reversal, but if it does not hold, it will see more downside. So as of right now, this is just a very close watch for me, waiting for this bottom to confirm before I get into this stock. Alright, so the next stock that I'm watching this coming week is Arrival, ticker symbol ARVL. So Arrival recently had their merger and ticker change to ARVL, which is the new symbol that it's trading under. The stock had high at $37 and is now less than half that, sitting right at about $15. So taking a look at the technical setup, we can also see this is kind of the same chart as C3AI. It did bounce off $15 about a week or so ago, and it is starting to retest that $15 level. So I am looking at $15 to hold as support. If it does not hold, I'll stay away until it does find its next support level. But if $15 does hold, this is another one that I could see a double bottom bounce on. The chart is looking bottomed out. We also did see some bounces in some EV names last week, such as XL Fleet and Romeo Power. We did see those start to run last week. So if the overall EV sector does get hot, if these smaller cap EVs do get going again, Arrival is one to watch. The chart does look attractive here if it does end up holding that $15 level. Arrival is in the process of building factories. They have deals with UPS and Amazon, so it is starting to be an established EV company already. If they can compete with the big companies is yet to be seen, but this valuation and technical setup is starting to be attractive for potential bounce off this level. So let's go ahead and get into the next stock. Alright, so next up I'm going to be talking about the Boeing company, ticker symbol BA. The stock is having a recent dip for things such as their 737 MAX planes having an electrical problem. Over 220 workers will vote to authorize the strike against the company. And overall, Boeing is known for having some problems with their planes that they produce. So for that reason, there is a possibility that this stock does drop further short term if these short term issues do not become resolved very soon. But anyways, overall, this is a recovery play. And taking a look at the technical setup, it has been holding this trend line as support for a while, and it is sitting right off this trend line right now. So there's a couple key points that I'm watching here. This trend line is sitting right at $150 right now, so $150 may be holding as support, and we could get a bounce off here and resume the full uptrend. If the trend line does end up breaking and $150 does end up breaking, and the stock price does drop below, two potential entries that I'll be looking for is getting in at $240 or getting in at $235, both looking as the next potential support levels. And overall, Boeing's chart has been stair-stepping on its way to a full recovery. Overall, within the next couple months, I do think we see a full move up to that $300 level. So this is one that I'm watching very, very closely. All dips are looking attractive right now. So if it does hold 250, I'll be looking for an entry. If it drops below, I'll be waiting for an entry either at 240 or 235, whichever level holds. And I do think this stock will be due for a run to $300 sooner rather than later. I'm not going through full deep dives on these companies because these are trading ideas. These are more short-term, mid-term trades than long-term investments. That's the main focus on these top 3 plays for the week. It's just what I'm watching as short-term plays and not really investments unless said otherwise, such as the ELY trade last week. I'm looking at that one as an investment and not just a trade. But overall, there are becoming some attractive valuations even in this overextended market, and there will be opportunities in any market if you can find the right one. So that's what I'm focusing on. In current conditions, I am playing very small, playing fewer option trades, and playing more shares, just being more safe overall, because I do think there is a chance that we do get a pullback this coming week. So I am being careful and treading lightly in this current choppy market. If there are any stocks that you want me to do a deep dive on or give my full thoughts on, let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely put that into consideration for a video this coming week. And hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you're interested in joining the private Discord chat, the link is down below. Every time I buy and sell a stock, you get an alert. The real value in the group does come in from asking me any questions you want and getting my full watch list to play the next coming day. So if you're interested in that, the link is down below. The link is in the description. Also, if you're interested in learning my full trading strategies, everything that I do in the market, my arbitrage strategies, technical analysis strategies, everything like that, I do have a course out. The link is in the description. You may have to copy and paste the link because it does not show up on the YouTube description as a clickable link. That link is down below as well if you're interested. Thanks so much for watching, guys. If you did enjoy the video, I would greatly appreciate it if you liked and subscribed if you haven't already. Thanks so much for watching. Make sure to stay safe in this market, trade smart, and let's get rich.